I mean, talking about it on a superhero level, like the threats involved, I don't care about any of it. Like, the stakes mean nothing to me. It just feels so perfunctory. It feels like a crisis because, I don't know, you guys buy crises.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Well, Dal, it's a bittersweet podcast. There's positives and negatives.
There always are. Actually, that's not true. There's rarely positives. But go on.
Usually negatives, yeah. Positive, brand new technology to record this particular episode.
Is that right?
And moving forward, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how it sounds.
The podcastatorium is getting even more technologically advanced as we drill deeper and deeper into the Earth's core.
Yeah. And I don't know when it comes out, but we're going to be getting this whole new setup.
Oh, okay.
But it's a thing that isn't available yet. It's basically I'm on the list for when pre-orders open.
Wow.
So it could be like 6 months from now. Who knows?
Wow. I hope Ticketmaster's not running it.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that is the case. Unrelated, one of my relatives had some surgery this week, and in a group chat, my sister Karen said, "I hope they recover swift." And I said, "Swift? Too soon, Karen. Too soon."
Do you think the Acclaim's going to rap about that on Saturday?
Maybe
at Full Gear.
Yeah, probably something about Ticketmaster
just before they defeat Swerve and Our Glory to retain the AEW tag team titles.
I mean,
anyway, sorry.
Don't talk about it in the future. It already happened, and they've retained.
That's true.
But the bad news about this podcast?
Yeah.
There are no British comic writer audio drop-ins.
Aww.
And before you even get your hopes up, there's no drop-ins whatsoever.
No.
This one is just us. Just
My hopes
us.
were up.
I had a shot at doing a couple today, but I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I'll let it go. Sometimes people just need to hear us.
I disagree, but I'll allow your supposition.
Sometimes people just need to hear us complain about Spawn covers.
Oh my God.
This is at request of patron and fellow comic retailer Josh Crawley.
Yeah, I'll say this up front. There's things that are worth complaining about, and then there's things to me that are just super easy to ignore. And this is one of those things where it's super easy for me just to forget about it.
Well, we touched on it briefly.
We did.
Last time, but I don't think either of us, or especially I, did not realize the scope of it as we were talking about it last time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's... So, do you want to recap it?
Yeah, I'll recap it. For the month of December, probably because of all the extra spotlight on Batman Spawn,
certainly because of that, yeah.
Image is doing a celebration of Spawn by putting Spawn on a couple of variant covers for the month of December for Image Comics.
One or two.
And it's a total of 48 covers.
Yeah, some books have multiple Spawn homage variants. Like, I think Radiant Black is doing 2 different ones.
And they dropped this information last Thursday.
Yes.
When the first 12 covers had to be FOC'd by that Sunday.
Yes. So with 72 hours notice, basically. And that means that, as we've talked about before, when publishers drop new information, creative team changes, extra variant covers, new variant cover art, new variant cover artists, and they do it with such a limited window of time, I can't communicate that to my customers in enough time. I'm not sending out like an extra mass email to all of my subscribers to say, hey, by the way, here's a bunch of new variant covers. Can I help you?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Are you?
I got what I was looking for.
Okay. I hope people appreciated that noise.
They wouldn't have noticed it until you called it out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It sounds pin drop quiet. This is new technology. It censors all the things around it.
Oh, fascinating. So anyway, yeah, Image announced a whole bunch of Spawn variant covers for literally every book they're publishing for the entire month of December. And again, sometimes multiple covers per issue. With the, like, hey, these are closing in a few days, so get your orders in. I think it's incredibly stupid, and I think it's incredibly short-sighted, because doing it with that small of a window basically encourages stores like us to say no thanks.
this is the kind of thing that they had to know existed because they had all these creators of all these books working on these covers. Why would you not want to give...
We've talked to some image creators, and sometimes the turnaround for give us a variant cover or give us a new printing cover is like 3 days.
Yeah, but for something this... Like, give us a new cover for new printing is different than give us a Spawn cover.
I would think, except there's literally no reason to do it this way unless it just occurred to you. Unless someone at the first week of October was like, you know what? And by that point, like, the catalogs had already gone out, and there was nothing that they could do.
Still put out a press release?
You should. Doing it this way, again, incentivizes stores like us to not order them at all, because I don't know how many people are going to want these, and there's no time for anyone to get their orders in beyond, like, the second or third week of FOCs. Like, maybe then people have heard enough about it. They'll be on platforms like Manage Comics. People who do the regular... last call FOC screen will be able to go, oh, I didn't realize they were doing a variant cover for Little Monsters that has a Spawn variant. I'll get that. I'm not going to go out of my way to do it, and Image, unfortunately, isn't going out of their way to inform anybody. So all I'm going to do is, if I get pre-orders, I'll order them. If I don't get pre-orders, I'm not ordering them.
Well, we had a club member who is in today request one of the covers.
Okay.
And it is got 2 strikes against it.
Okay.
1... It is a book we do not carry for the rack at all.
Okay.
0, no copies for the rack.
That Texas Blood.
And 2, the FOC was last weekend.
Was it that Texas Blood?
No.
Okay. Yeah,
So I'm like, I said, I honestly don't think we can get this for you. We'll try.
Yeah, you can put the order in, but I mean, I don't know that Image is going to keep a ton of extra copies sitting around of a variant cover for a late series issue.
Yeah.
Good luck. But yeah, that's the thing, that if it had been in the normal catalog, someone might have had a month to 6 weeks to learn about it, to find out about it, to have a creator say on Twitter, Instagram, through a letter column, hey, by the way, we're doing these covers, and then it's like, oh, cool, now I can go order it.
Well, that's the Image way. Put the impetus of information on the creator.
But even this, like, by the time a creator can get the word out and a fan can find out about it, frequently it's too late. And this is only a week.
Yeah.
Like, this is someone who found out within 7 days, and it's 3 days too late.
And because of Thanksgiving, they have to double stack the FOCs on these books.
Yep.
It's not even the normal FOC cycle. It's a shortened window.
It's a colossally stupid way to do it. But all that said, me specifically as a human being and a retailer, I don't care. I mean, they could announce they're doing 100 Savage Dragon covers, and whatever. The orders come in on an automated site, or someone asks for them, and I order them if I can. I'm not ordering any of these for the rack. 48 Spawn covers? No. Absolutely not. No. No one yet, and maybe someone will, has approached us to say, I want all of those.
You know what? It's more than 48 because you're forgetting about the 3 each of the regular Spawn covers as well. Right. Because I'm pretty sure Spawn is on all those covers.
I don't. This Image Spawn thing...
You're not going to carry any Duo Power Bombs or 8 Billion Genie Spawn covers?
Patrick, I hate to say this. I do think we ordered the Spawn one because it's by DWJ.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying we're not ordering any, but I'm like, no, we're going to carry some.
Yeah, I'm very choosy about it.
And honestly, the Genie Spawn is so cute.
But here's the thing. I guess the specific rationalization that I have for the ones that I ordered on FOC weren't Spawn cover so much as variant cover for a book that we do well with.
Yeah.
So like 8 Billion Genies? Yeah, I probably will, because we do great with the 8 Billion Genies. Some of the ones you've mentioned where it's like, we don't even carry that for the rack? Why would I carry the Spawn cover for it then?
You absolutely wouldn't. And just, they're so far away from Spawn books to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know what the huge crossover would be between, someone who's getting Little Monsters and someone who enjoys Spawn. Like, I don't...
Nita Ha's Nightmare block and Spawn.
Right. All that Texas Blood and Spawn. I don't think so. But yeah, DWJ doing a Spawn and one of his characters, like, yeah, sure, great. I don't know if... I assume Ryan Brown's doing the 8 Billion Genies variant for Spawn, and that could be fun.
No, I just said Spawn has a Spawn Genie.
Oh, okay.
And it's adorable.
But I assume Ryan's drawing the cover? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the part I don't know. So many of these are ones where it's like, it's not just the interior artist or the regular cover artist doing an additional variant. Some of them are just like, I don't know, some random person. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
As a concept, if introduced in a vacuum, it's like, yeah, sure, that could be sort of fun, but like 48 covers and done with like a rush solicit? No thanks. Too many too fast.
There are a lot of retailers who are speaking out very adamantly against this.
Sure.
And I wonder what Image internally thinks about it, or what the orders actually will be. Because as often as retailers complain about a thing, sometimes those things still pull in spectacular numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I would make the argument that a lot of the retailers that are complaining about this to Image are ones who had, if this had been presented to them with a normal timeline, would have really gotten behind it and made a ton of money off of it.
Yeah.
The thing they're complaining about isn't that there's 48 covers necessarily, or, that they don't fit the books. It's, if you had put this in the catalog, I could have promoted this to my subscribers and probably sold dozens of these. Instead, I got to order blind and hope I can sell them to some of these subscribers who didn't even know they existed. Non-returnable. So maybe they buy them, maybe they don't. Yeah, the complaint is, I could have made money off of this, and you could have made money off of this, but you screwed both of us.
Yep.
That's the complaint retailers probably have.
Well, at least all the Spawn covers are returnable. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the way for Image to honestly placate everybody. If they had just said, like, look, we're doing this rush solicited, but they're all returnable, I probably would have ordered a bunch.
I think, Todd McFarlane does not trek with returnability.
I don't know that... You'd mentioned that before. I don't know that it's a Todd thing. I don't know who's making these decisions. And also, the whole, Image doesn't do second prints anymore. I guess they do for Hell to Pay. I guess they do for all the issues of 8 Billion Genies. Why some books? Why not others?
Well, so far it's just Charles Soule books, apparently.
I guess. So. Yeah, Image used to have what felt like...
I want to say standards so bad.
Well, I was going to say, verifiable policies, where it's like, oh, Image will do this, but they won't do this. They'll do that, but they won't do the other. Now it's just they don't do returnability as a rule, and they weren't doing reprints as a rule, except now they're doing some reprints as a rule. So it's whatever. And yeah,
we did sell out of Hell to Pay.
Did we really?
Didn't we?
No, I don't think so.
No, we did.
I bet we didn't.
We sold out of some books I didn't expect to sell out of recently.
Sure, I think we're probably out of Gospel by now.
Yeah, I think we're out of Gospel. We definitely sold out of Murder World.
Yeah,
Happy to do so.
Well, I think I ordered 4 copies of Murder World for the shelf because it's those sort of series of one-shot things from Marvel. No.
Yeah, seriously,
if I saw it on a Wednesday,
week,
fine, great.
Yep. You were making a small list of books to reorder this Wednesday. You looked at me and said, we're not reordering Murder World, right? I'm like, oh, God, no.
The only reason I asked, and it would have been an obvious, like you said, oh, God, no. But we actually had someone come in late Wednesday, and they needed a copy, and we had to order one, so I thought, last week I did a couple Marvel books that we'd sold out of on Wednesday. I got a few extra copies, and it was good because later that evening we had people come in and they needed special orders. So it's not so much should we get Murder World because, we can sell it for the next month or two, but in the next 2 days are we going to have more people coming in saying, do you not have Murder World Avengers? And we could have ordered some and we didn't. That's more what I meant.
Well, if that happens, I'll just have to live with my decision.
I suppose. It's definitely going to keep you up at night.
Yeah. Oof.
Haunted by it.
So, are you keeping that in the back of your mind when it comes time to do FOCs for Titan's Jim Zub Conan comic?
No, what?
The fact that Murder World sold so fast.
Oh, did he write that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't keep track of the creators on a lot of lower tier Marvel and DC books like
I
that.
see. Well, will you be keeping track of the higher tier Dawn of DC titles?
Yes.
Dawn of DC is DC's 2023 initiative that will see at least 20 new titles, and I don't know that there's a philosophical bent to it that you could say this is what Dawn of DC is about.
I mean, I think they're trying to portray it as a Dark Crisis is over and now good
what
things
comes
are
after
gonna
the darkness
happen.
but the dawn.
Exactly.
It starts with...
It's just new books. It's new books after a crossover.
Action 1050, which I don't think we really ordered as if it was that big of a deal.
I don't know, maybe.
I think we went up a little bit. I say we because it's me doing DC orders.
Is it?
Yeah.
from now on?
Well, I mean, no, not FOC. It's just initials.
Oh, sure, yeah. Okay.
Which,
I mean, you did do FOCs last week, so I'm like, is this some,
right?
Is this
No. That was just I was helping the store out when it was unnecessary.
That's fine. Better safe than sorry.
That's right. But no, it still benefits better more from a multi-tiered
Sure.
thing, which is why you make Molly Jane do most of it.
I don't make her do most of it. That's not true.
You let her do most of it.
I, much like you, appreciate an extra set of eyeballs on things. Dawn of DC, it's an interesting one because sometimes a Marvel or a DC, when they finish a big crossover, will have a bunch of books come out and you're like, yeah, I guess that character was, heavily involved, or yeah, I guess that's, a cool new concept you could explore because of how the miniseries ended. The Dawn of DC one just seems like, hey, I guess we haven't published a Green Lantern comic in a while, or a Doom Patrol comic in a while,
Yeah.
or a Green Arrow comic in a while, or a Hawkman comic in a while.
Oh man, did they announce Hawkman?
He's on the list.
Okay.
I don't know. I could pull up a news item. But
Well, one of the
some
most-
books did not have creative teams.
Yeah,
so much
that's.
as it
I was just gonna
just
say
like,
that's so annoying.
yes,
Some of it's
Hawkman,
like,
no, we don't.
hey, we're gonna do a Cyborg series. We don't know who's doing it.
Well, I'm sure they know.
Hey, we're doing. But they have like. Why would they then not tell you?
because they want to have like a tiered
Why would they
level of
say,
announcements.
here is the person who's writing John Stewart Green Lantern.
Uh-huh.
We're not announcing the artist.
Well, I think some of it is because they're just not in the current catalog, so they can use that for the next news cycle. Like the stuff they were announcing in full were books that were in the day's DC catalog.
Sure, but
So, like, you might as well tell us who's writing and drawing Doom Patrol because Doom Patrol is in the new catalog, and so is Superboy Man of Tomorrow, and so is...
yeah, which they'd already announced, so that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, and so is, I think, Batman Brave and the Bold. So, a few of the
With
books
a
that were on
Joker
that chart.
cover. Really? Come on.
It's nice to see someone like Batman finally getting a bit of a spotlight in the DC publishing plans.
Interesting that they're doing a Tom King Penguin series.
Yes. Spinning
my
off
favorite
of the
part-
Chip Zdarsky stuff, which is so weird.
My favorite part was the Penguin, parentheses, title pending.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be Penguin : whatever.
The man who wags.
Maybe.
Wax. But it seems like it's the opposite of the Zdarsky stuff. It's like, hey, everything that Chip just did, we're pulling it back.
Kind of. I'll be interested to see what direction they go in with it. Yeah, there's books in there that I think are more interesting and more immediately sellable. I think the Chris Burnham Doom Patrol is probably going to get a bunch of people checking it out.
Yeah, but the writer
Okay.
has nothing big to draw you in for.
Dennis Culver?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a Dennis Culver thing I could
My
reference.
point is, if there was, it would come up to you right away.
I suppose the name sounds really familiar, and I feel like
You're
I read
just thinking
something...
of Butterburgers.
I'm really not. I don't really go to Culver's. I think I've
Yeah,
been
but you know
once
it
or twice.
exists.
I do know they exist. It's true.
Yeah.
What am I thinking of for Dennis Culver? Clearly not Future State Gotham,
Nope.
nor Justice League Incarnate.
Justice League Incarnate was the big one that they keep
Was it really?
pushing.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't read any of these.
Uh-huh.
Did
As you
you
said, Burnham.
Did you see who's doing the One Bad Day Clayface one shot?
I don't know that I remember.
Colin Kelly and Jack the Lansing.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is just like, all right, sure. Someone's got to write the Clayface one, I guess. Yeah, I like a lot of DC books. They're not necessarily all-star creative teams that are going to make a ton of people pay attention, but I think what they have is
I think one of
a
the
good core that
one of
people
the
could check
bigger
out.
ones is actually Green Arrow.
Oh,
It's Joshua Williamson and Sean Izakazi.
I don't know, Sean Isaacs. Is it Isaacs? I heard Isaacs.
It is not Isaacs.
No, okay.
It's the one who's doing Thunderbolts right now. Yeah,
I heard it was pronounced Isaacs.
I don't think it is.
Okay, I honest to God thought you had said that to me,
Oh, okay. Dal,
Patrick.
I've heard it both ways.
Okay, great. I don't know if that's going to be a huge thing, mostly because Josh Williamson, I don't know that he's at that place at DC anymore. I think he's kind of more of like the wallpaper
I'm
of
sorry,
DC.
the guy who's just finished their major summer crossover?
Yes.
That guy?
We just a few days ago were talking about how that thing was not selling great and our numbers on it were so much lower.
Yeah, but it's still their biggest book.
Is it? It's definitely their most promoted book. I don't know if it's their biggest book. We outsell, for us DC wise, outselling Dark Crisis, Nightwing for sure, Batman for sure, Human Target for sure. God, there's a few other books where it's like, I don't know, the Dark Crisis since issue 1 has been the best-selling DC book any week it's come out.
I don't mean for us, I mean for DC.
But again, I don't know if that's the case, because I feel like there's other stuff that is...
Why did you buy the new version of the Sculptor?
Why not? It's bigger.
Okay.
I can't get rid of the other one because it's got a signed book plate in it. So I'm going to have both from now on.
Which is why I wouldn't have bought the second one.
Yeah.
At least you didn't buy the second one because it was signed.
I didn't. The Dawn of DC stuff, I think it's good that they're doing a lot of basic core characters that they've kind of not had an idea for in a while. Whether those are going to be more successful, can't say. But I think it's a good idea to at least spend 2023 doing a Hawkman book and doing
a Shazam
Doom Patrol
book.
book and a Shazam book and et cetera, et cetera.
Shazam is interesting because I've never really cared for the character that much, but this is Mark Waid and Dan Mora doing like an action comedy book.
Which definitely means that Dan Mora is not going to be doing... Well,
No, it doesn't mean that at all because that dude can do 3 books a month.
Well, I mean, isn't Once and Future wrapping up? It's got to be.
No,
right?
it's over. It's
okay.
it's done already. Yeah.
So I mean,
so that's why I think he can.
Well, I think he'll probably keep rotating off. Like I think for the month of February, which is the new catalog, Emma Lupacchino.
Okay.
I'm saying that the way I did because I don't know if that's how you pronounce her last name. Is doing the art for at least one issue.
Okay.
In the same way that I think Travis Moore had done a couple issues before.
I mean, there was a long stretch of Dan Mora doing 2 books a month.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But anyway, I guarantee that will sell way better than the last Billy Batson Shazam series sold.
Oh my God, yeah.
And even of the current Mary Marvel one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what we ordered for the first issue of the last Shazam series. I think it was like 15 copies, maybe less.
And we maybe sold less than half.
I think we're basically club only by issue 4.
I'm just not personally excited for it.
Yeah, same here. It's not a character like you had said that has ever really been super exciting for me. I'll definitely give it a look, and I'm sure it'll be fun to look at. Yeah, I don't really care. For me, looking at the list of Dawn of DC stuff, I mean, there's nothing I saw in there that really got me excited, personally as a reader. Again, I'll take a look at the Doom Patrol book. I've always enjoyed the Doom Patrol as a concept, and Burnham's art's always fun to look at. But I'm not really into DC kind of as a thing right now. Like, certain authors I'll read and some of the Black Label stuff. But in general, their approach to building a universe and telling stories, it's just not for me right now.
Well, that's just it. I don't think DC has a thing now.
Well, I mean, you look at something like Dark Crisis, and I'm completely disconnected from it. Like, I have been reading it, and it's just not for me at all. Artistically, narratively,
I just read issue 6, and it feels like they beat their bad guy, but still have an issue to go.
Yeah, I mean, talking about it on a superhero level, like, the threats involved, I don't care about any of it. Like, the stakes mean nothing to me. It just feels so perfunctory. It feels like a crisis because, I don't know, you guys buy crises. Nothing about it feels motivated by anything other than just, like, a Q4 budget or whatever.
I will say that, as far as characterizations go, they gave Nightwing a larger role in it, but it feels like not Nightwing from the Nightwing comic.
Yeah, I don't care. The Dark Crisis book does nothing for me. Like, on an emotional level, I just don't care at all. But yeah, like, there are creators like
who hurt you?
DC. Yeah, DC. I mean, DC for 10 years about. Yeah, like, Tom Taylor's Nightwing, I think, is fantastic. And the most recent issue is a lot of fun. And there are creators doing stuff like that at the company. It's just generally as a universe, I don't care at all. As opposed to Marvel, where I do generally get involved with their big crossover events and with, like, their big company-wide initiatives. Like, obviously, if you're going to do, like, a symbiote one, I'm probably not going to care a lot. But, you know, I thought Axe Judgment Day was really good, and I'm excited about Sins of Sinister, and I'm excited about, honestly, Dark Web. I think that's going to be fun. So that stuff, yeah, Marvel as a giant superhero publisher is getting me a lot more excited. But I will check out all of the Dawn of the DC stuff, and I will be happy to say on this podcast if anyone I read is terrific and people should look at it.
The last 2 issues of Amazing Spider-Man have had the cover imagery of Spider-Man fighting 1 or 2 hobgoblins. Actually, just a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
And they were so similar so framed. Like, I'm like, you could have... There's other story elements you could have done for this, but at the end of each issue, they show you the cover next issue. Mm-hmm. And at the end of 13, the most recent one, they show the cover of the next one, and I'm like, man, that's such an ugly costume. Is it like, is he changing suits again, or is this a byproduct of the new Osborn armor? Why is that? Oh, that's Schism. Chasm. Sorry. Oh, that's the crossover start. It must be starting.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It didn't have any dark web iconography on it,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh yeah, no, that's a different character altogether.
Yeah, I think the reason why they were releasing issues so rapidly for the Hobgoblin stuff was because they kind of have a hard start date for Dark Web.
Yeah.
Because there's so many moving pieces to it that, like, if you got to rush out 12 and 13 for ASM to make sure that Dark Web Prelude or ASM 14 come out on this day, you do it.
It's really interesting to me that the first collection is Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells and Johnny Romita Jr. Volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing the art for everything. There's other artists in that book.
Is that right?
Yeah. Patrick Gleason's supposed to be stepping in, and...
Sure, I guess there will be. I mean, Ed McGuinness did that oversized issue.
Yeah, so
And
is there going to, like...
Nick Dragotta did the...
So my point is it going to be
No.
Volume 2? Are you going to...
No, I'm sure that Marvel considers the core creative team to be Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr., and then other artists are other artists. Like, I think the next collection, is just issue 6 and 7.
Because 7 was so big.
6 was triple size.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's just going to be called, by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. Volume 2.
With John Romita Jr. doing less than half the art in that book.
Oh, yeah. Significantly less.
Whatever. Fine. They can call it what they want. It's just very difficult to rack on a shelf because there's so many Volume 1s.
Well, it would
Which there
certainly be
always
nice
will
at some point in the future if Marvel would decide to have a color other than white be the spine color, so that when you have all of these ASM Volume 1s in one section, maybe you could do different blocks of color for different series, so it more easily on the shelf reads as, this is one series, this is another series, this is another series. That would be nice, but, I'm not in charge of their collected editions department.
Still,
I ask, but,
that's too bad.
you know.
I don't have a witty way to transition into this, but
Okay.
as you know, we sell virtually everything in the store on our website as well.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our website also continues to sell things we don't have in the store.
That's true.
And just today alone, I had to refund 2 separate orders.
Is that right?
Yeah, somebody ordered Newt's Volume 2.
Yeah.
We got 1 and 3.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's worth, let's do a hard inventory on
Yeah.
everything. That'll take forever.
No, we can usually break it down by different categories if we want to.
But it seems to me that every time I do, if there's more than 1 order in a day,
Yeah.
something's getting refunded.
Yeah, I mean, the only stuff people ever seem to find are the things where it's like, oh, no one else has this. Well, we don't have it either, and there's a problem with the inventory. Either something didn't get scanned out correctly, or something didn't get scanned incorrectly, or it was stolen, or it was damaged and lost, or... Yeah, I don't know. I wish I understood better why that kept happening, but
nobody
happens.
stole Newt's 2.
I don't. It's just so weird because there were problems we were having with the RMH and RMS inventory because there were weird phantom purchase orders that kept manually resetting whatever inventory we put in. Like it would just be like, oh, okay, we have 0 copies in stock, and then you'd go and it would be like, oh no, it's saying we have 1, and we don't, and you change it to 0, and RMH would change it back to 1, or you would have. Oftentimes it would go in the opposite direction where we'd be reordering stuff endlessly because RMH would be missing an order somewhere and the system had gotten corrupted, and we'd suddenly have -3 copies. And so it's like, well, you say you want to have 0 copies in stock and you have -3, so we better order 3 to make sure you have 0, which is the sort of nonsense logic a computer can only do. Anyway, we can do an inventory. We do inventories
Often.
Well,
Occasionally. Let's say occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, not constantly because
Not monthly.
They usually the problem is doing them basically takes the amount of time that we would normally have to work on any project any day. So if we have nothing else to work on, the times that we've had to do inventories in the past, and we probably will over the next few months, is if we get the Marvel stuff in before Monday,
then you can do it on a Monday.
right? Because we don't spend a couple hours unpacking it, checking it in, and doing everything else. We can actually just pull it for subscribers, and then we can spend the rest of the time. So, if there's a Monday coming up where there's a holiday, and we're not getting deliveries, sure. It would need to be one of those.
Good news, Christmas. It's a holiday coming up.
It is. It's a Sunday, though, I think.
Well, whatever.
Also, I'm not going in.
Oh.
Yeah. It would
That's
need to be a
selfish
day
of
that
you.
we're open. That is
Hey.
also a holiday where we're not getting deliveries.
You didn't specify that.
I didn't think I needed to. Yeah, we can do it, but it's just going to... I don't want to say it's just going to keep happening, but there will always be some weird error, and someone will always order that thing. Like...
They're drawn to it.
It really is one of the most frustrating things about these sort of errors, because there are things that we have 7 copies on the rack and no one will ever buy them online. But the one variant that the computer thinks we have that we don't is the one that someone's going to buy, and then will also be the one that they don't want anything else. They just want that one variant. It's like, God damn it. Yeah, super frustrating. I don't like refunding people any more than you do.
It is occasional that someone will be, because a lot of times it's, hey, we don't have that exact cover. Do you want the A cover or the B cover, whatever we have? And sometimes it's like, yeah, I don't care. Mm-hmm. But then there's oftentimes where it's, no, I only wanted the A cover.
Yep. I had that happen about a week and a half ago, where someone, a regular online customer who orders for local pickup, had ordered a variant that the system thought we had, and sure enough, we didn't have it on the shelf. So I had to say, hey, we have this other one. And they were like, can you order that? And it's like, no, that cover specifically is completely sold out at the distribution level because it's the Artrim cover. And also that's the one they're going back to press on because it's the Artrim cover. But we have a regular one. And they ended up taking the regular one. But it was a bunch of back and forth emails to be like, please take the one that we have instead of the cover you wanted that we can't get anymore.
There was almost a back and forth today over a specific cover, and I thought, no, I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to do this and move forward, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of the covers and things, Margie and Keith pointed out today that we sold out of a Gambit cover, not the Russell Dodderman cover.
Yeah, but I'm sure we ordered more of the Russell Dodderman cover for the shelf. That's why. The regular cover, we know what the regular cover sells, so we can order towards selling out on that. But a Russell Dodderman variant, I assume there's going to be people who buy that don't normally buy Gambit. So I'll get a few extra.
Like Russell Dodderman's mom.
I don't know that she shops with us.
Oh, I didn't know you meant from us.
Okay.
So, Dal, we were just talking about one of many computer issues that make life a little bit harder.
Yes.
What about one that finally makes life a little easier? And when I say easier, I mean easier than life was before, not easier than it's supposed to be.
Sure. Yeah, I think we've left Brian Garside waiting long enough. Yeah, the Managed Comics Order Hopper tile came out this week.
Hooray!
The thing that we've been talking about for at least a little while as
I
far
should
as
drop in applause there.
its delays and stuff. Snuck out. The Managed Comics team managed to convince Shopify to actually release a plugin that we needed and had anxiously been awaiting for the last few months.
It was a surprise late Tuesday drop.
It was.
And
Yeah.
by drop, I mean we dropped everything to install it.
We did, yeah. And then we played around with it a little bit and used it all day Wednesday. The joke of it, of course, is that the Managed Comics Order Helper tile is the thing that Point of Sale uses to pull subscriptions into a cart so we can ring them up in the store faster than trying to do it the way we have been the last 11 months, where we're kind of sorting through a pile of books and plugging in different numbers. And it's time consuming and we have to concentrate on it. We can't talk to customers. Instead of all that, this is doing it faster. So of course the first Wednesday that we have it is the slowest Wednesday
we've had in
of 2 years, maybe 3 years. Completely dead Wednesday.
This is the second Wednesday we've had since the pandemic that we referred to as a pre-pandemic Wednesday.
Yeah. The number of buyers and the total sales were pathetic.
Yep.
And so of course, that's the day that we get people out of the store even faster. We didn't need to, because then it just meant we had an hour of nothing. It was an incredibly slow week. We knew it was going to be slow because Marvel had virtually nothing out. And that's usually the best bellwether of are people going to come in? We've said it many times on the podcast, you can have different huge releases from different publishers, but if Marvel doesn't have anything big out for the week, everyone's skipping. And they pretty much did.
Yep.
A lot of regular Wednesday people just didn't come in, and then, additional people did not come in on top of that. So Wednesday was very slow for us. Hopefully, a lot of those people will come in the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, because after that, we're probably not going to see anyone until the new year, and that's going to suck. I don't like bugging people in December to say, please come get your subscriptions, but with the amount of people that did not come in the last 2 weeks, it's like, oh boy.
Yeah, and it's an established Challengers fact the last couple of years that a third of our subscribers do not come in the month of December.
Mm-hmm. We take a lot of holiday cards out of people's boxes in January.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't come in.
Yep. But anyway, the Managed Comics order helper tile. So great to have.
Too many L's in there. It's hard to say, right? Order
helper. Too many R's.
Order helper tile.
Order helper tile.
Yeah. I think it's the helper. That's the one that's hard to kind of... Order to tile is kind of fine, but order helper tile doesn't roll off the
course,
tongue.
This morning when I get in, there's a error on Shopify's end where neither of their things open. Yes. So, we can still, if for some reason the order helper tile goes down...
We have a backup.
We have a backup, but we don't when Shopify kills both of them. But...
I mean, we kind of do. The backup for that is just me writing down on a scrap of paper to go into someone's account later and delete all of their books because they bought them already.
Yeah. But by the time I had emailed Brian, by the time he replied saying, yeah, it's a Shopify thing we noticed on this end, it was back.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before. We've had times in the past year where Managed Comics is just unreachable on Shopify or on POS or both. And it's a situation that resolves itself pretty quickly.
Yeah,
never as quick as you'd like, but quickly.
When I called to tell you about it, it wasn't so much how do we fix this? Just as of course. Right. Look at this. Of course.
Of course. But the order helper tile works great. We noticed a weird bug Tuesday night when we were trying to ring your stuff out that they immediately were like, we're working on it. And then we didn't...
It hasn't happened since.
I didn't see any errors on Wednesday, which is great. Not just like for Managed Comics as though like, oh, their stuff's buggy, but just in the software thing of like, you push this out to like 100 accounts and you were only using it internally, stress testing it probably. But the fact that you could roll it out to all those stores, and we didn't have any problems on Wednesday. And on the Thought Stream on Thursday, Brian had mentioned that the only problem they noticed was people using, I think, like the Marvel app where like you can do like t-shirts and stuff, where they do print to order t-shirts that you can sell through your site.
Yeah.
Because I guess that creates an additional location for your store. And
you can't have multiple locations.
Well, you can. It's just, I guess, the way that Managed Comics, the order helper tile and Managed Comics as an actual like database of stuff, having the two locations had the order helper tile kind of sending books to the Marvel app instead of sending it to the POS cart. But that was the thing that even Thursday on the Thought Stream is like, we're fixing that. And that's, maybe one person who might have had that problem. I think it's great. It's exactly what we wanted. I hope that even though it was frustrating for the Managed Comics team to be waiting for this crucial piece of their platform to get rolled out to their accounts, I hope they're able to use the time to kind of tweak it and smooth it out, because it definitely it worked great. And that's whatever they were doing. If that was an extra 2 months of dotting I's and crossing T's while Shopify kicked it back and forth because they're bad at their jobs, then I hope that was something that the Managed Comics team took advantage of. As always, with anything that Managed Comics does, here's the thing that is sort of a problem. I had reached out to Brian a couple months ago when he was showing off the order helper tile to say, hey, one of the things that the order helper tile does is in Managed Comics and in Shopify, every item that gets created when you're receiving it from like Diamond or from PRH or from Lunar, every item kind of that has a subscription component gets created twice. There's like an active item, which is the one we're selling off the shelf, and a draft item, which is the subscription item. So it's two individual SKUs. What the order helper tile is doing is taking quantity from the draft item, the subscription item, and pushing it over to the active item, the shelf copy. And then you ring it out through the cart, and then the shelf copies get reduced by one, and so everything balances out. The problem is, currently, the only way that we can track shelf copies is by looking at the sales data on an active item. Prior to the order helper tile, copies sold on an active item were only copies that were sold off the shelf. They weren't ever copies sold to a subscriber.
Right.
So when I'm doing FOCs and when Patrick's doing the initial order, we can look at, the copies sold on, like Batman 128 on the active item, and we know that, okay, well, those are copies we sold off the shelf. So in addition to whatever copies we need to order for subscribers,
This is what else we're going to need.
for issue 130 or 131, we need this amount of copies. Now, currently, everything that's sold through POS, whether it's a subscriber or whether it's a shelf copy, is sold as an active item. So when we look at the active item sales for like Immortal X-Men 8, it's going to tell us we sold 20 copies so far. And it's like, well, we didn't even order 20 copies off the shelf.
Yeah. What are subscribers? What are shelf
Right.
copies?
So currently what I have to do is the way that I've been doing it on FOCs for the last year, I can't anymore because the active item now includes data from 2 different sources instead of just the one I need. And Shopify's data on an item listing is so terrible, I can't go into the item and find out, okay, well, who bought it? So I can at least try and figure out, well, that's a subscriber and that was a shelf copy or whatever. I have to go into the reports function and basically, do individual reports for every issue that I need to check. And then what it will do is it will give me a list, and I have to have it by price. So anything that's a $3.99 book that we sold for $3.59, I know that was a subscriber.
Oh, man.
Anything that's a $3.99 book, I know that was off the shelf. And then I have to individually count those up to find out, okay, but how many shelf copies did I sell? I can't get it to just spit out what I need. I have to get a raw listing of everything we sold and then go, okay, 6. We sold 6 off the shelf. And then go back into the FOC function and add that to my subscribers so I can actually know what I need to order for an issue. The good news is that Managed Comics is going to be pushing out a sales tracking thing as part of their normal platform, which means it shouldn't need Shopify's approval, in a couple weeks. But the downside is that we do FOCs every week across 3 different vendors. So there's at least 6 FOCs that we're going to have to do the most clunky way imaginable. The data's there and we can actually get at it, but we have to do a lot more digging for it. It's going to make everything take twice as long. And the last year, it's already taken twice as long. So now it takes 4 times as long. So
And what about B covers, C covers? Those are separate items, not factored into
Correct.
that one. That was the thing that...
So if I pulled up Something is Killing the Children 26, I think came out this week.
yeah.
If I put in it as part of title contains something number 26, it'll give me a list of every Something is Killing the Children number 26, and I can sort by price then, and then I can go, okay, or I can sort by title, and then look at it and go, okay, well, these are just the A covers, and then this is what I sold for the other variants. But again, it's hand counting it on that screen. It's not spitting out a number that I can then just go plug in.
It sounds a lot of fun.
It's terrible, and I appreciate the fact that Managed Comics is aware of how untenable this is and how difficult it is to get any actionable data out of the core Shopify product. Everything is very third-party app reliant. So as a third-party app, they are coming up with a solution for that. But the downside is that the solution on a very fast timeline is 2 weeks, and it's oh, golly.
And that's
2 weeks is going to feel real long doing it this way.
Yeah, and that's not even their initial order function.
No. I mean, this is just a way for me to get the data faster out of their platform.
Yeah.
So it will get me back to probably a little bit better than where I was a month ago, but it just means 2 weeks. 2 weeks if I'm lucky. Long story short, Order Helper tile, great.
Yay!
There are a knock-on effect that needs to get fixed, but I know that they're aware of it. I know that they're working on it. I know that they have a plan for it. So I can grin and bear it for a couple weeks.
I keep forgetting that the orders are due basically this week, and it's a real busy week coming up.
Good luck. I'll show you. I'll show you how to go through the reports function to get what you need.
Nah, I'll just wing it.
You can honestly.
You guys got to FOC it. It's fine.
I was gonna say. I mean, except for some of the back of the catalog diamond stuff, you can just plug in sub numbers and then we'll take care of it later.
I do that for Marvel and IDW. I used to go back in and redo and then actually do IDW, but I don't anymore.
Right.
But I for DC, I at least want to. It's been almost a full year of doing it this way, and I don't. I feel like I've got less of a handle on what to order now than ever before.
No, I understand.
But I still at least want to do in the DCs is at least some level of normalcy, even though it's not.
Sure, and I mean, like we were saying much earlier in this episode, it's nice to get additional eyes on stuff. So if you're just plugging in sub numbers and nothing else, that means that Molly and I are the only ones doing the ordering. You're not.
Yeah.
The way that it should be working and the way that we liked it working in the past is that you would do initial orders and then we would do FOCs so that there's a sense of like everybody getting involved.
Yeah.
And that hasn't so much been the case
In the
for
last
you
year.
with like PRH and Diamond.
Yeah. And that's more the fault of PRH not having an initial order platform either.
Sort of. There's a thing PRH does that drives me absolutely crazy that I'm trying to keep more of an eye on, but it's very difficult. And there's a lot of their manga that they will not put on FOC until closer to FOC, even though it's on initial order. Like, it's a weird thing where we've been ordering some manga that then doesn't go in an FOC cart, so we just order it, and then there is an FOC cart a month later. So when I get to the FOC screen, I'm like, oh, we didn't order this. We need it for subscribers. And it's like, oh, we did.
In the earlier days of ordering the manga from them, I would use our notes from Diamond as to what to order, but
Sure.
that only works when you've ordered a previous volume from Diamond. When you don't anymore, it's not helpful. And then, for whatever reason, in those time periods, there were double orders on a lot of books.
Yeah.
And occasionally still getting them, but that's because of how the manga is. Orders are placed at all different random times. And then there's certain volumes where there'll be 2 volumes in a catalog,
Right.
even though they come out months apart.
Yeah, it's confusing.
It really is. There's no, and as far as I know, there's no plans to streamline any of that on the PRH end.
I think they've mentioned in the past that they do want to have order history on the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means showing us what previous issues you ordered at what quantities, or if it literally just means this is what you've ordered for this item. I'll take either one.
Yeah, for real. That would definitely be a
either
help.
would be nice.
It would definitely be a help. It's a thing that Lunar has been doing since day one, and it's a huge help.
Yeah, it's very easy on the Lunar screens to see it. It's easy on the Diamond screens to see what you've ordered for that issue or the previous issue.
The thing that I don't like about Diamond is that it combines all the orders for every cover into one number.
Does it?
So if you're ordering Something is Killing the Children number 26, it says, last month you ordered 48 copies. That's total between 8 covers.
Right.
It doesn't break it down for you.
That's nuts.
Luna breaks it down by cover. And then you have to wonder, was there a 1 in 50 incentive last month?
Ugh.
Is that how I got that? I don't... Yeah, not a fan of that particular...
DC's doing like 15 covers for the first issue of Superman.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that.
Guess what we're not doing?
Just wanted to share my pain.
They've got like 8 covers for the last issue of Dark Crisis.
Well, like, and even for Superman, like, I think they're doing like 15 or something covers for an Action Comics issue, like 1051 or something.
Someone asked today how the DC 90s covers are doing for us. I'm like, we didn't really carry those.
Yeah, I don't think we carried any for the shelf beyond what we would normally carry.
Yeah.
And most of those like are C covers that we wouldn't normally stock. The foil variants, we did some of those.
Yeah, I'm surprised we still have some of them.
They're expensive.
They are. DC Comics, bringing back net pricing.
And I don't think they executed them very well. Like, there's not a lot of like detail to them in a sense of like they don't pop off the page a lot. They just feel kind of barely embossed. I don't know. I don't think they're very dynamic covers.
Nope. Just one solid foil cover.
Yeah.
So this was an announcement from a couple weeks ago, but that I did not really pay any attention to, and I had a minute to go back and start digging through today. But AMC Comics,
Oh yeah.
the I don't know, channel movie
Network.
producing network. Yeah, there you go. They're doing a line of comics,
Yes.
and some of the comics have been previously announced at Image Expos in the past.
Yeah. Parisian White from Kelly Sue DeConnick and Bill Sienkiewicz.
I love that they still announced this as part of their launch, and it's not due out until late 2023. But literally, it was
I'm
at
not
an
putting
Image.
it on my calendar.
No, how many years ago was it an Image Expo? Like 6 years
When
ago.
they did Image Expos that long
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But then I looked at because David Harper mentioned it today, and I may have misread it, and I didn't get a solid sense of it, and I didn't have a lot of time to really dive into it. But it seems like a lot of their books are just one shots.
I guess I guess they're
That's
doing
a
like
terrible
a
idea.
preview book at San Diego next year or something.
Oh man!
And like that's it.
Then why announce anything now?
It didn't make any sense to me because even in the initial announcement, it was like AMC's publishing these books. This one's through Image, and it's like, so you're not
Wait, what?
publishing it. Image is publishing it.
Oh, I thought they were their own company or imprint or whatever.
No,
like-
it made it sound like it's like a packaging thing where like AMC is packaging it in the same way that like, you know, Skybound packages books and then releases them through Image.
Huh.
I could be wrong on that. It was a very confusing press release. I didn't feel like I completely understood what they were trying to tell me other than that book that you heard about at an Image Expo 6 years ago is finally coming out at some point. And it was just like, okay, why is
Weird.
AMC involved?
Yeah, I don't get it either then. I mean, they've got other good creators.
Do they?
Yeah, they've got Tula Lotay drawing a book.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They've got Kirk Hammett from Metallica writing a book.
Okay.
And Christine Nori is drawing it, who hasn't drawn a comic in forever. And if I'm not mistaken, at one point she was a DC rep. And I think that's how I know her.
Huh.
Because we are acquainted on the social medias, but also have had interaction before.
Sure.
But I think Christine Nori was a DC sales rep, like pre-Jan Jones kind of era, you know,
Sure.
like the right before the Stewart and Mike and Fletch era,
Okay.
I think. But there's other announcements of books, and I couldn't. None of them really have any type of duration or cost or
Yeah.
what have you. And I see you frantically scrolling.
Yeah, I'm looking
On
at
your
this,
mobile
this thing
device.
on the beat. They mentioned that other announced AMC Networks publishing comics projects include Shudder's Creepshow from Script to Scream, which will debut in partnership with Titan Books, and an OGN, Miss Fisher's First Mysteries, based on the hit Acorn TV series written by Cecil Castellucci.
Yeah, those are the two AMC comics that are based off of their own properties, not
Okay.
just ones that they've picked up.
Yeah, I swear I'd heard that the Parisian White was coming out from another publisher, but I
Huh.
can't see anything on it here, so maybe I just read it wrong.
Well, that would make more sense to me, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a weird thing where when this was announced, it was like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's why I knew it was announced, but I didn't look into it, and it was a little bit of digging today
Sure.
to see some of it.
Yeah, maybe they're not. Maybe they're actually publishing, which is super duper weird. I don't know who's carrying them. I don't know what distributor we would even get those from. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if you think that's weird, have you heard about Bad Egg Comics?
I think I've heard about them. I don't know anything. beyond
Bad
that
Egg
name.
is a comic publishing concept that
Oh no!
is very unique to today.
Oh no!
Whereas, and I'm getting some of this wrong, and it's in conjunction with a big media company and a big marketing company and a big, like a comics veteran whose name I did not recognize at all.
Mm-hmm.
But they're mainly digital comics
Okay.
with the industry's biggest name creators. And then they do high-end print versions, but like the single issue print versions are like $12.
Okay.
They already like the first title, the first issue has been out for a little bit. It's called God Slap,
Okay.
and it's written by Stephanie Phillips.
Okay.
And it had a cool logo, I admit to that. But that's the only thing I think they've done so far.
Okay.
But it's really like not a Substack model, because the people that are involved are not venture capitalists, but people from different marketing industries and different, like, we're going to take all of our knowledge and apply it to the comics industry.
Okay.
But I don't, nothing that I read today, and again, I didn't have time to...
I like just the basic thesis of like the comics market is a solvable problem, and then it's like, boy, right there, I got to disagree with you. I don't
Yeah.
think it is. I don't think the way this market reacts to anything is something you can solve towards. But sure, okay, someone else's money being wasted on this.
Yeah, I was talking to local creator Dave Scheidt today about Whatnot Comics and what
That's
Whatnot
the first thing I
does.
was thinking about as you were explaining this. I'm like, oh, Whatnot. Yes,
And
got it.
what Whatnot is doing within the comics industry and how it is a level of comic book production and sales that is just a little beyond me. Like it's a little bit too, not tech-based, but internet-based.
Sure.
And it is not the way I engage with comics,
No.
but that doesn't mean it's wrong.
No, I don't look at Whatnot as something that's like harmful to the industry or whatever, or something that is, you know, detrimental to the medium so much as I look at Whatnot as, boy, people are spending an awful lot of money to gain users, to grow a base, and that is never sustainable. It's just not. Like, you look at how Whatnot went from like a thing you kind of vaguely heard of to like anchor booths at conventions and sponsoring everything
And
everywhere.
how often do those companies last?
They don't, and that's, I mean, I've seen enough of these companies come and go through comics where it's like, that's cute, but, I mean, do I think Whatnot's still going to be there in like 3 years? I don't.
So Dave told me a story from this year's C2E2 that I had not heard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, he didn't remember the company, or the it wasn't even a company, I think it was a retailer.
Okay.
Somebody who had a backstock of the Ultimate End. Was that the first appearance of Miles Morales?
Yeah.
Like Ultimate End
Ultimate
4?
Fallout.
Ultimate Fallout.
Yeah.
Somebody had a bunch of those covers.
Okay.
So they printed their own acetate cover and attached it to the book and sold it as this huge variant / super rare first appearance, first printing, but limited. And he said they took the Marvel cover off and put their own cover on.
God.
And then he was trying to get me to look it up, and I said, I don't want to hear more about this.
Nope.
He's like, no, you have to look at it because every single comment is a complaint by someone, but all the complaints are from the people that couldn't buy them.
Oh my God.
And they sold it for phenomenal amounts of money. Keep in mind, none of this is verified. This is all secondhand.
I mean, it sounds likely to me.
But how...
Yeah. That sounds incredibly bad. Like,
It sounds so shady.
not shady.
And
Like,
not-
you can, if you had a whole stack of them and you were like, I want to put a new cover on it, like, maybe that's the case. Like, it sounds completely fraudulent. Like, that you suddenly had this backstock of this hugely successful book and you were like, you know what? I'm going to put a new cover on it, sell it for even more. Like, it's already insanely valuable. Get those slabbed and sell them for thousands of dollars each. So yeah, the idea of like, and we took the cover off, and like, why would you do that?
But they were selling it for way more than
I don't know how
the
much
regular book is worth.
but that's the thing. That book is worth so much money
Yeah.
that if you had a backstock of them, again, if you just got them all slabbed,
Yeah.
you could be
fair.
selling it for thousands. Like, I don't know how much you'd have to sell an individual copy of a thing that you defaced and put a new cover on for it to be more than just taking the book you had, not printing up a new cover, not defacing it, and just selling it. Like, that's so weird. Like, you didn't take something that was valueless, make an alteration, and make it super valuable. You took something rare, scarce, in demand, and valuable, and then tried to make it more valuable. Like, why? Literally gilding the lily.
Now, I feel it's almost irresponsible of me to have even brought that up without doing any verification. And I'm not going to pretend I'm going to look it up now after the fact that I brought it out there. I'm sure some people who are listening are maybe motivated enough to try to find out more about this.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Oh,
And,
no.
again, I feel if I got the story wrong or it was presented wrong or whatever, sorry.
Sure.
But just the idea
Sorry,
of doing
Miles.
it makes me understand comics retail that much less.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's any number of shady things happening any given week in the comics industry that retailers are just like, well, gotta make a buck. All right, fine, whatever.
Yeah,
Tired of fighting that fight.
sure.
Market doesn't care.
And also, it's not like we're above all of that. I'm sure we've done stupid things in the past. It's never with a horribly malicious, greedy intent.
No, in fact,
But I'm sure some things are looked upon that way.
literally anytime we've tried to make a decision solely motivated on profit, it bit us in the ass. Every single time.
Yep.
So we tend not to work towards that anymore. Not that we ever, like, that was ever front of our brain, but certainly now we have enough, like, examples to point to go, oh no, that's what happens when we try and do something that everyone else is making money on, and
Yep.
we're like, well, we'll make money on it too. We don't. So no.
Well, I'd like to thank local creator Mark Bouchard for coming out tonight and doing a signing and a presentation.
Yeah,
and
thanks,
we had a release party for them. And we have their newest book, Leaf Peepers, in stock, as well as their last month new book, It Took Luke.
Their other recent book. It's a book.
All signed,
Oh, nice.
all on the shelves. And
I think we still had some of the self-published version of It Took Luke too. Maybe not anymore.
oh, really? Oh,
They were in the horror section.
oh, okay. Huh. I wonder. I don't think I realized that. Could have busted them out today. Maybe. And upcoming on Saturday, December 10th, we have Dave Scheidt in the afternoon signing his all-ages books, Mayor Goodboy Goes Hollywood, and Agents of Slam.
All of which would make great holiday gifts.
Yeah, for real.
younger readers.
For real. All of the Agents of Slam already come with a signed book plate
That's cool.
that could be added in.
Sure.
And we had the bonus of creator Marie Enger coming to this event tonight as well.
Awesome.
All the way from St. Louis.
Aw, thanks,
And
Marie.
I told Marie that it is almost time for me to start wearing their Krampus enamel pin that I bought from them at a
When do you start with that?
women's
Black Friday?
comics night. I'm sorry, a women's comics month signing
Yeah.
years ago when that was a thing.
Sure.
And then they showed me the new book they're doing, which is a ridiculous 5-foot-long fold-out,
Wow.
double-sided.
I think we got an
So,
email
like
from
10
a
feet?
publisher over the last
Yeah,
2
with
days
with
for some
another
other Marie
yep.
Enger book.
That was from the writer,
Yes.
who Marie then said, would you want to do a release thing for that? And I said, doesn't the writer live far away? They're like, yeah, Australia. I'm like, well, they'll probably be in town for C2E2.
Perfect.
Like, well, we're probably going to have a party anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The more the merrier.
exactly.
The more the
it had been.
merrier.
There you go. I was going to make an angry joke. Angry joke with an E, but I didn't. Because I couldn't think of a good one, to be honest. That's the only reason I stopped. Not because I'm above it, because I'm definitely not.
Never.
But it had been a while since we had like a Challengers party,
Yeah.
and with the beer cooler out,
All right.
and folks hanging out, and a reading with the projector and the slideshow and all that kind of stuff,
Nice.
which didn't quite go as planned. But does it ever?
No.
Also, like that projector never gets bright enough. I don't think anyway.
Nope.
I'm glad years ago, before the pandemic, I'm like, we're investing in a projector, and it's also not Bluetooth, so you can't just scan it. Like, you can't just hook it up to your
That
device.
sucks.
And a giant screen. And I remember saying, like, oh, these screens look large. I'll buy the smaller one. It's still massive.
So big.
It still covers
So
our
hard
entire...
to set up.
I thought it was pretty easy.
Really? Okay.
It's just awkward.
I found it always hard to wrangle.
It covers our entire action figure section. So, of course, after I set it up, and the party was from 5 till 8, but we were still open that time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we had a family with young kids who immediately were trying to crawl behind the screen to get to
Oh,
the action
gosh.
figures. Like, you know what? Let it go.
Uh-huh.
Just, we're technically closed.
Right.
You
can look at
can't-
toys some other time.
Yeah, sorry. Do not crawl behind the screen because it could fall on you. I mean, it's not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Dave saw us, Molly Jane and I, tensing at the kids going near the screen.
Sure.
And he's like, I'm never someone that gets mad at kids or yells at kids, but there's certain instances where I can see why people would do it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the most democratic and polite way to say, like, oh no, you want to start screaming at those kids.
Yes.
I don't want to scream at them. I just don't want, like,
I want them to be screamed at.
I want them to
Not by
not
me.
be crawling behind a screen, because clearly that should be a thing in your head that says don't do that.
Sure.
But I also think, had I been that person, I would have done the same.
Really?
I mean, I'm
There's
not
toys
saying,
back there and you know it.
I'm not saying when I need something in Home Depot, my go-to example, and the aisles are blocked off because they just mopped it. Like, I don't vault over the barricade And if it's one of
too
those like expendable metal ones, I don't do anything. But if I can reach in, I'll get the thing.
Sure.
But I will be vastly disappointed that I can't get to the thing I came to the store to get.
Sure.
But they were just looking at toys. It's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, they weren't coming in to make a purchase that they were dead set on. They just wanted to see toys and touch them.
Yep. Who doesn't want to? In fact, I think I'll go touch all of those toys right over there right now. Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.